It was always hard for me to see any progress at all. I remember when in 2020 I told myself that 2021 will be the year when I will finally see progress and success. And then I essentially said the same thing in 2021, 2022 and 2023. Even though I was putting in so much effort, I would literally fall asleep in front of my PC while working. I was not seeing any results or success with any single thing that I have ever started. Up until now. One thing changed that allowed me to finally see progress. And in this video, I'm going to show you what that is and how to win in 2025. Here is what you need to do. So if you can relate to the story that I have just told you, then it means you are in this kind of loop and you keep repeating the same things over and over again every single year. And it might be the case that you, just as I did, you are putting a lot of effort into your work. You are dedicating actual hours into learning and working on your stuff, and yet for some reason you are not able to see any success, and that is extremely dangerous for you. Because situation like this, unless you change the one thing that I'm going to talk about in this video, situation like this can make you feel frustrated, and it can convince you that you are not the right person to succeed in certain things. You are not the person that deserves success, and it can make you give up entirely. And so we want to avoid that. So the first step that you need to do if you want to truly avoid that is you need to reset your mind. You need to take a step back and forget about anything that you have done already. Because if you feel lost, if you feel like you are not making any progress, then there is no sense in you focusing on the same stuff over and over again. If you were working on a project for the past couple of months and it got you nowhere, then certainly there is something that you need to improve on. And if you now decide to constantly push and not actually take time to reflect on what you are actually doing right now, then you will essentially get nowhere. You need to stop for a moment. You need to take time to reset your mind, and you need to take time to reflect on what you are doing right now. Listen, you still have time until 2025, and so I want you to take time, entirely stop working on your project for now. Maybe you will go back to it, who knows, but for now, just stop and start thinking, start reflecting a lot about your life, your current situation. You need to take at least a day and maybe even a week to clear out your mind. I want you to truly, however woo-woo that would sound, sit down and meditate and take time to reflect on your goals. You need to get detached from any distractions, that's the first thing, but also you need to detach from any kind of benefits that you are chasing, material benefits that you are chasing right now. Because that will allow you to move on to the second step, which is to define what you want. Listen, there is a great chance, I would say, that you are right now chasing something that you don't really want, but you think that you want it because someone promised you big results, a lot of money and all of that stuff. If only you will follow this thing and you will stick to it. But I want you to ask yourself if it is something that you genuinely are interested in, if you genuinely care about it. Because if that is not the case, then there is no sense in you actually chasing this thing. Why? Well, because if you chase this thing, if you decide to dedicate all of your time and attention and energy into this one thing that at the end of the day you are not even interested in, then yes, maybe you will build some success, maybe you will get somewhere, but even when you end up being successful and end up making a lot of money, then what will most likely happen is you will essentially feel directionless and lost in life again. And that will be the case because right now you will choose to chase something that doesn't really align with your own personal values, with your own perspectives, with your own beliefs. And so in other words, you will spend years chasing something and building something that doesn't really fulfill you, but doesn't really align with your purpose. Which means that you will end up achieving someone else's goal, someone else's dream, and not yours. And that is completely understandable. Listen, I myself did that. I was trying to develop some kind of business, to build some kind of business, but I didn't really know why I chose that specific business model. Probably because someone told me, someone promised me that it will be easy, that it will give me lots of money and all of that stuff, and it was my main goal. And so I was trying to copy what others were doing, but obviously it didn't work out for me. And do you know why? Because when you are trying to copy what someone else does, you don't have this clarity because you don't know what is the next step. The truth is that the key to succeeding in anything is clarity. When you know exactly what you want, then your effort is laser focused on this one thing. And then every single action that you take is leading to a meaningful life because you have it in mind, you have vision for that, you have clarity, and you know what to do. And so what I want you to do is I want you to take a moment to think about where do you see yourself in 5 years from now, and what are the goals that actually matter to you, not to someone else. Now, if you struggle with that, I actually have a free resource called the Awakening Protocol that will genuinely help you with that. So feel free to download it from the description. It will make the entire process much easier for you because there you will be able to find every single detail that you need to know when it comes to defining what is your life's purpose, what is the vision for your life in the next 5 years, for example, or even more. And it will definitely help you define what are the goals, what are the things that actually matter to you. Now, the next step is that you need to find your passion and your strengths. Because if you are following someone else's idea of success, if you're following someone else's business model, then what happens is you are essentially probably forcing yourself to work on the things that you don't really like. What that means is that you are trying to compete with others in areas where you are not naturally strong. And that is something that not many people talk about, but it is extremely important to understand. Because if you're not passionate about something, then it will be easier for you to quit. In fact, you will quit as soon as it gets hard. And I want you to realize that if you are following someone else's business model, for example, then what happens is you are essentially entering a new area where you are not really strong, when you don't really have this advantage. And instead of taking advantage of your actual strengths that you have, and instead of taking time to first discover them, you are going against the flow, and you have this disadvantage from the very start. You need to focus on instead finding something that you are actually passionate about. That is because then if you are working on something that you are passionate about, that is meaningful to you, that you are interested in, then what happens is the work that you need to put in does not really feel hard. It's actually easy for you to work on that stuff because that's something that you're genuinely passionate about. And that is how you can leverage your strengths. That is how you can become a lethal entrepreneur. And that is how you can essentially destroy your entire competition for fun. You need to find out what are you truly interested in and what are your talents. Maybe you have some natural abilities that you are not really aware of or that you don't even notice. Again, take time to reflect on that because it will be very important for you. And again, the Awakening Protocol, which you can find in the description, will help you massively with that. Then the next step, once you find the thing that you are passionate about, then you need to dive deeper into it. Because just being passionate about something does not really give you this competitive advantage. You need to gain it by mastering your passion. You need to understand that there are already people in the same thing that you are, and they are much better than you. But still, you have this advantage that right now you will be working on something that you are genuinely interested in, that is your passion. And so when that happens, you will be able to progress much faster, you will be able to do much more work. And I would just focus on that. I would just focus on mastering your passion. Because if you now focus on making money out of it straight away, then what will happen is you will turn your passion into yet another thing that you are perceiving as a business, or maybe not even as a business, but rather as a job. And you will start perceiving it as something that limits you and as something that you are forced to do. You don't want to do that. You don't want to kill your passion. You need to realize that once you focus on something that you are genuinely interested in, once you focus on this thing and you actually become good at it, and you maybe share your experience and maybe share your projects with the world, then what happens is people will notice you. People will see that you are so good at it, and they will actually want to pay you. What will happen is the opportunities that you are looking for will start coming to you. And again, you can get to that point much faster if you work on something that you're so passionate about. But as I already said, first you need to commit yourself to really mastering your passion, to really getting good at that thing. And once you do that, then you are ready for the fifth and final step, which is to turn yourself into a business. Because if you will follow your passion and you will master it without thinking about money in the first place, then you will eventually get so good at it that, as I already said, people will start coming to you and asking you to help them, to provide them with some kind of service or to teach them how to do certain things. And this is when you will be able to help those people and fulfill yourself through doing this, but also you will be able to start creating the lifestyle that will actually make you fulfilled. You really have two options then. You can either start a business and start providing some kind of service to other people. So for example, you can start fixing their cars, or you can start teaching people your skill. And if you think about it, every single business does that. They either teach you something or they provide some kind of services. So for example, they can teach you how to run paid ads, but also they can run paid ads for you. Now, once you take all of these 5 steps, so you will reset your mind, define what you want, find your passion and strengths, master a skill, and then turn it into a business, then I can promise you that you will win in 2025. Because while other people will be actually working hard, like physically hard and mentally hard, because they will be working on something that they do not really enjoy, then you will be there working on your actual passion, on something that you're actually passionate about. And I want you to see one thing and understand it. You can turn anything into at least $100 million business. And I'm telling you that because right now you might be kind of skeptical to all of these things that I have just told you. You might be thinking that, well, if my passion is music, or if my passion is really niche, then I cannot really turn that into a business. But let me tell you one thing. If you are passionate about something, then there are at least millions of other people who are passionate about the same thing. Which means that if you can just get better than them, if you can achieve higher level than them, then you will be able to teach them, for example, or to provide some kind of service for them. And that will allow you to genuinely turn yourself into a meaningful business, because again, you will be working on something that is meaningful to you. I hope you understand this message, and I hope you understood everything in this video, because as I said, it is really, really life-changing. It can genuinely change the direction of your entire life if you just take those 5 steps. Okay, so yeah, thank you for watching. That is everything from me for this video. If you found value in it, you can like it, you can subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Other than that, thank you for watching, and as always, keep pushing.